Yes, hi, hello.
Welcome to my Book of Light and a warm welcome to Kai Muegge. You are a famous physical medium from Germany. I hardly need to introduce you, but please introduce yourself, Kai.
Oh, I'm 50 years of age and I'm a public demonstrating medium for manifesting spirituality, physical forms of spirituality, spirituality that is manifesting objectively in our environment, and it is an ancient form of communicating and dealing with spirits, and it is a reviving way and form of how to deal with spirits, and we are happy to talk about that and to teach the people the techniques.
Hello, guys. Good evening.
Almost all the members on the couch who are from the circle Terra Mystica. We miss one member. She is ill and she has the flu. And in Christmas atmosphere this time.
Oh, yes, of course.
Of course.
Very beautiful.
Yes, and we have here two cats who are joining us tonight. One is the cat over there, that's Pim.
Yes.
There's a very old fellow. You can't see him, I think.
Okay.
Sir James, who is sitting
Sir
there.
James, I see. So Christmas is as family related as it is here in our family, I hope.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, because this is the most beautiful thing in the year when the family comes together at Christmas times. Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah. We love it, and we love the feeling of togetherness and connection, and celebrating the light, of course.
Yes.
And, especially from the understanding we have for the little bit that we have it, and that's great. But we experience wonderful seances with you, Kai.
Thank you.
November. And there we would like to speak about tonight.
Yes, please.
Okay. So, but we also want to hear about New York. You have been there too, huh?
About what?
Yeah. New York.
Oh, yes, but that was before I came to.
Yes, but maybe you can say a little bit about that, because you had beautiful experiences there too.
Yeah, I mean, it was not only New York, it was actually New York, upper state New York, Boston was one of our because of Colleen Sullivan's The Institute, which is there, and Los Angeles, where we met the medicine man, and Florida, where I was given that amazing gift by a befriended reverend, the protection ring of Keith Milton Reinhardt, this famous physical medium.
Wonderful.
Yeah, absolutely. I, in the meantime, had it at the jeweler's, and the jeweler was totally freaking out when he was seeing that ring, and he was saying, "Oh, you have something really special here. What is for a long time not anymore made that way." And yeah, he had to fix it. The fire heart had a break, and with a very fine acrylic lac.
I saw it on your blog, beautiful pictures on the blog.
Yeah.
It's amazing. Everybody must look at it.
Indeed. And in the meantime, the ring is perfect, and I can preserve it for future generations, actually. Yeah, the medicine man visit was, of course, one of the outstanding moments during these 4 weeks of United States. We were giving everywhere seances. They were all very successful, with powerful reunions in marks.
Mm-hmm.
because people saw their deceased animals and saw their deceased relatives, and we had powerful moments when people were sobbing and crying, and because they were lucky, of course, because they were happy, of course.
Both.
Yes. And and what was exceptional also was the raining stones that were raining in red light and even in white light in the seance rooms wherever we were. Yeah, and the medicine man has developed as well. We mediums develop naturally as we develop as human beings, and the medicine man has developed in his mediumship, if you wish so, as well. And Julia and me, we were invited in two powerful ceremonies of the UVP tradition with materializing spirits, direct voices speaking materialized spirits. And the medicine man is now coming to Sardinia and will in the following be coming to Switzerland in April. And that is something what you maybe should keep in the back of your head, because if you anyhow could imagine to come to Switzerland and be part of one of the ceremonies, it is an eye-opener for all of us who are working with spiritual manifestations of some sort, if it is voices on a magnetic tape, or if it is a moving trumpet. It is the spectrum manifestations within spirituality. And when you are fascinated by this, then Northern American Indian UVP healing ceremonies are something you should be very, very much interested in. It's powerful, it's integrating. So this will be at the beginning of April when he's in Switzerland. And we loved it to be in USA because we had that long pause. Yeah, so thank you very much. That was superb.
Yes, it was a long pause, but also what I read about the witnesses of the seance reports that I read, that there was a lot going on, and it must take so much energy from you. It must also, because every work what we do, even when we work in the garden or whatever, it takes energy from us. Of course, we are tired after work. Yes. I know. Not after every and our seances are nothing to compare with you, but we have very nice phenomena. Yeah. But after a seance, most of the time, one day after, I need to recover.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm old, of course, older than you, much older, 10 years more. So I need to really to recover from that. Mm. And so now and then there is an evening, and you know that, then there is a lot of healing. Then I feel better, much better. I always feel mentally better, always. But then I feel sometimes also physically better.
Yeah.
So it's not almost all the time the same, but there's happening so much in your seances, so much going on while you're asleep. And of course, you heard a lot about it and maybe even felt things about it. What does it do with you physically?
I know that it has effect on me, but I believe that a very stressy job. I mean, I worked as a key account manager for software more than 10 years with 16 hours in the office and so forth, I considered this more straining and taking more power from me. And after we really analyzed the energetics going on in the seance, we believe that we have found a way to integrate the sitters in a way that I never need to give too much, that it is really taking something from me. It can always be refilled.
Yes.
So basically the state is interpreted as sleep by my body. I know that because it's hard for me to sleep afterwards. But on the other side, my body feels as if my body had worked.
Yes, that's what really happened, of course.
Yeah.
That's what is going on. Yes, your body is working immensely hard.
Yeah, yes and no, because when I ask the control person says, no, you sat all the time on the chair and you was not moving at all.
No, of course. We know that.
So from that point of view, my junctions shouldn't hurt. My legs do hurt. My back does hurt when I stand up from the chair. So my body, my spirit has slept, but my body somehow gave physiological energy into the processes.
Yes. Maybe it's nice to share about our experiences.
Yeah.
You said that the energy of the people who were of the sitters or the participants were also helping in the phenomena. And it may be nice to know, I told you I do also from 2004, I must say I'm a very big specialist in the EVP in the Netherlands, electronic voice phenomena, and also through the mental mediumship. It's a nice combination.
Yeah.
And also, of course, the spirit photography. But what I did before, I took a little, I taped some EVP, and to show you how it comes out, one conversation. It's like chatting, you see? It's like chatting. So I just make a little chat, just a few seconds before we started to.
Okay.
Not because people like, of course, if you give the messages like this, but if you can also hear it, and some of them can hear it, and some are more clear than the others, then people are sometimes impressed. And I'm impressed all the time because it's amazing. Like I'm talking to you, I can talk to them.
Yeah.
Of course, they answer me when they can answer, when their laws, if I may say so, permitted to answer, and they do. They absolutely do. So I said before we go to the seance, I said, "Hello, so nice we're going to the seances," and so on. And they said on the EVP, "Yes, we're working already hard for it." And I said, "No, you may not work for it because." The last time when we were there, it's only the spirit team of Kai. Please don't interfere. It's not meant to be that way. And they were laughing at me. And I said, we will see. And then, before the seances started, first of all, not only I, but also Eva, hello. Should we get a few seconds before the seance, now it was a few minutes it started. Very, very light in my head, very, very dizzy, in a way that I never was before. I could find my chair, but I was so much, I don't know what happened. I didn't call something to. Anyway, there was a shift in my energy, and it was not only was me. I can assure you that. And then later on, of course, I make again a recording, and they say, by example, I can tell you something. There are exactly their words. I said, have you seen all we have seen? Yes, we saw everything. And then they said they were a little, geschrokken zeggen ze in Nederlands, surprised. It's not typically the word surprised, but it was more than surprised about the pegel, hoe zeg je dat? About the ectoplasm that came out of your eye with the apport in it. Even spirit you have surprised so much.
Yeah.
They were a little shocked that was going on. I asked them what did they like the best.
Yeah.
We loved the messages of love that you gave, the best, that they loved the best.
Oh, yeah.
And I asked him about the dizziness and so on, and they tell them how they can move and so on. I said, what did you enjoy the most? They saw it as a chance to participate. They told me through the EVP too. And with
That's amazing.
And you know, is it the handkerchief, how you can say it, was floating in the air?
Yeah.
They loved that the most. They were
yes.
allowed to help with that. They loved that the most. And the blue light in the cabinet, the spirit said, my spirit team said, also that was a chance to help with it. And it was amazing, and they liked very much to help with the bliksem, hoe zeg je dat? Lightning, you know, the lightning.
Oh, yes.
It was such a big lightning. What we saw at the last seances, I hardly have ever seen it at the sky so big and so powerful like this.
Yeah, that's amazing, isn't it?
And that was a chance again, they said. And it was fun, they said too. They said Kai, he knew when he was younger that life could bring him chances. That's what my spirit team tells me.
Yeah.
And he knew that with his consciousness, that he knew it as a child already, that the life could give him chances, a chance in all kinds of ways.
Yeah, indeed. You know, when I was 15, it may sound strange, but I had an experience that was maybe the most influencing experience I ever had of a spiritual kind, and you know what it was? It was a religious apparition. I was 15 years of age, and during a night when I was with a friend, suddenly I was washed away with quick visions that were coming, and at the end of that sequence of visions, suddenly I saw Jesus, and Jesus went through me like a wind, and I fell onto my knees and started to cry, because when Jesus as a wind went through me, I heard the words, "Don't be afraid." And these words were imprinting all my life. Don't be afraid, and do it, and approach the things, and be upright, and all these things. And then a life came with a lot of chances. I always had a natural luck with me, a natural fortune. And so I always regarded my life as a truly blessed life.
Of course.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Tell something what you like the most. Henny, may I ask you?
Yes, I like...
Come closer if you want to. It's wonderful to experience this apport. So with my eyes on top of it, that it happened. That I could feel your arms. You invited me to feel. I felt even your arms on top. And I did it for 3 times, I believe. And it was truly coming, and I saw it happening. And when I wear it, it connects me with my thinking, with my mind on that moment, and with your spirit guides who gave it.
Activation object, a true activation object. Oh, my dear brother.
Hello, Kai.
Hello.
I would say I was still impressed. It was very beautiful. And yeah, the most important event was for me was the little Buddha I get from your hands. And yeah, I must see it as a talisman, so it can help me with future decisions or influences, etc. And I would like to ask you a question. The way it is materialized, the stones. How do they manage that? Can you? Is that known to you, or can you say something about it?
Mm-hmm. We only can more or less discern that some of the objects are created from a thought form pattern. Yes. They have not existed before in our earthly environment, in our earthly dimension. Yes. They are coming from a new concept, or from a concept that was a second before purely theoretical, informational, and then jumped into the physical. Other objects are being actually transported. They come from another space-time in our dimensional environment. Mm-hmm. That means they come from a specific location, maybe let's say in the 19th century, 17th century. We have received very old objects, for example. Mm-hmm. It was claimed that they were coming from the 16th century. Wow. So yes. So alchemist stones, these were specific stones alchemists have had allegedly worked on in Paris. Oh, by the way, from Paris, these stones were coming from, but that's quite a while ago, a few years. So, this is what is basically happening. They are using the body as a portal for both processes. The one process means bringing thought form into matter. Yes. And for them it is natural. They always say, when we create into the three-dimensional, when we create into your dimensionality, then it is comparably when you are creating into the two-dimensionally. In the, you know, when we draw a painting, mm-hmm. Yeah, yes. It's natural for us to create into the lower dimensional environment, from three-dimensional into the two-dimensional environment. It is easy and natural for us to draw an image, or to draw a painting, or to fold paper, let's say. And for the spirits, yes. It is as natural to create from a sixth-dimensional environment into the lower dimensionality of our T3, T for time, and 3 space dimensions. This is how we are defining our time space. T for time, T3. So they are creating, this is for them a natural process. Also the approach towards the bodies is for them natural. They can easily step into my body and use the body in a way we have no idea the body can be used for, but they use it very naturally and can make fabulous things with the body. More do we not know. This is what we know.
Okay. Oh, that's a whole lot.
Well, all nights were amazing and so exciting to see what all the phenomena. I love the ectoplasm, the handkerchief, the instruments. At the first night, I was most impressed by the chair. Both 2 times the chair that was put on the table while we were all in a circle around the table.
They told me also that the chair, the hands were on the table when you did some, let's say, table tilting. Wonderful table tilting I heard. I was not present at the first evening. But please tell me if I'm correctly. They said the chair that was coming from somewhere, was standing in the back on the table in darkness. It not was only standing in the middle of the table, but there were some hands covering the table like this, and the chair, one of the legs of the chair was just between 2 fingers of someone. So it even was so precisely.
Oh yeah. That happens quite often. That the spirits prove a very precise operation, a form of operation when they move objects or transport objects onto the table. It's a demonstration of a paranormal transport. We are sitting quite squeezed around the inner table, and I'm sitting in direct contact with my neighbors, on shoulders, on elbows, on feet, on knees, on every level, because we are so squeezed. And that's the exact right momentum for the spirits to transport objects in, because they love this this medium control scheme. They love it. They want to control me all the day, only to brag around afterwards. Look what we can do when the medium is secured.
Yes.
I was sitting on the right of you in one of the groups.
Yeah.
Yes.
But what's the meaning? Our group, that was group 2, we have the drum on the table.
Yeah.
Knocks a few times, then he knocks on my hands, and then he fell on the table.
Yeah.
You said, now, they exactly do things smoothly, like the chair in your fingers.
Yeah.
So, now it's my question, why they tick with the drum on my finger?
Oh, you know, many times they are very precise, and some other times they crash the cardboard trumpet into the forehead of people, because they can display a fabulous control, but that control is not always there. That's why we are working with very light objects. None of these objects have the capacity to really hurt somebody. It's all very light. And I'm sorry for your hand, and I apologize.
It doesn't matter, of course not.
But the question was it a message for me, or?
No.
Okay,
It is simply a display of the ambivalence, of the back and forth in occult, in supernatural display. It is sometimes strong, sometimes the opposite. We never can really define it. You know, we just wanted to define it, saying it is very controlled, and it can securely let down the chair on the table. And the moment we want to define it that way, you come and say, no, in my case, the drum crashed onto my hands. So it is typical that this is the elusiveness of these phenomena, that we cannot really grab them, that we cannot really understand and define them. And we have to swallow that, believing that this is working alongside a parapsychology. It is a psychology we don't understand. That's why we are calling it parallel.
Naast normaal, we say, yes.
Yeah.
So it's very normal in a way.
Yeah.
Very normal.
Even though we don't understand it.
Absolutely. And then on the instruments and so on, you put some fluorization stickers, so to speak, so everybody can see them when they are passing and when they're floating and so on in total darkness. There is light from this fluorization. So this is great, isn't it?
Can I ask a question? Yeah. Yeah, well, my question is, how do you handle the criticism as a person, as a man, to all the people who tell you that you are maybe a fraud or something? How do you handle that? Are you worried about it, or what?
No, not really. I handle it with the transparency we try to offer at our seances. With the strict controlling and the holding of the medium during every darkness section of the evening. Mm-hmm. So, I had in the past harder times in coping with this criticism, because I always wanted to explain, but the more I explained, the more it was turned around, and another trap was laid for me. Yeah. For example, there is this nonsense going on that we are displaying Halloween spider webs, that I'm swallowing Halloween spider webs and puking them out. Yeah. I hope what you have seen had for sure nothing to do with Halloween spider webs. But this thing is out. This thing, not everybody, but everybody who wants to harm me is talking. I heard they never caught me swallowing spider webs. It was a pure saying. Yeah. Somebody theorized that. Yeah. And that was it. So we had harder times in dealing with that. But in the meantime, what can I do? Holding seances, and this is part of my life. I cannot change it. Mm-hmm. And for many people, it is such a blessing, and that does pay back. Yeah. For the criticism. Yeah. Okay.
And may I ask you something?
Yeah.
In our seances, what you experience, how do you cope with that? Is everything for you from the beginning all reality?
Not immediately. No. I was still asking some questions about it for myself until the time we had the table seances. That was the last thing I needed to totally accept what's possible and what we still do not know. Yeah. So first I was a little bit scared about things I saw or felt. But no, not anymore.
So now when they hug you, you like it?
Yeah, now I like it.
For everybody who has problems with what we are doing, who cannot immediately accept it. But the moment he starts and come visit us, he should slowly start to understand what is going on. I mean, as long as you have not seen it, it is hard to understand when you hear all these stories. But when you have been present, and we always say you have at least to be present 2 times, better even 3 times.
Yeah.
One time it is hard to really fathom what is going on, to really understand what is going on. But after 2 or 3 times, I know that everybody who's there feels what is going on and understands what I am doing during these seances. Nothing. I'm doing nothing during these seances.
Oh.
And
We saw that.
I really saw it. Yeah.
So, but most of the time, Kai, it is, maybe it was for you in the beginning was why I asked you that question. It is fear that comes, that interferes, doesn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
So when we get over this fear and we are in love with you and
Yeah.
then it develops, doesn't it?
Then and then you experience even more.
oh yes.
Lifetime. To me, at least, that's
Yeah,
what it's about for me.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Me too.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's very, very typical, that it turns from insecurity into integrity.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, integration into the processes and full application.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Okay.
Thank you
thanks.
so
Thank
much.
you very much. Thank you very much.
Het was voor mij een hele mooie ervaring.
I will translate it to you.
Yeah.
Yes. It was for me a very beautiful experience.
Ik wilde met mijn eigen ogen zien wat er bij gebeurde, vooral die apports.
I want to see it with my own eyes what happened with the apports.
En ik zag het.
And she
En
saw
ik
it.
was verbaasd en zo van wauw. Ik heb geen woorden ervoor.
She has no words to express herself. It was totally wow.
En alles was gewoon bonus. Ik vond alles mooi, prachtig, muziek.
Everything which did not expect it, so much happened.
En vooral het laatste, wat ik zag in die ectoplasma, dat we met z'n drieën daar zo mochten gaan kijken.
Ja, moet ik vertellen. And what was the most meaningful for herself was at the last that you produced such a beautiful amount of ectoplasm where pictures in developed. And pictures of one of them was from her grandma.
Oh.
And from the energy of her mother, grandma, grandma. So in this energy, and she, and at that moment she did not realize it. Ik
zag wel een herkenning, maar van meer de Indiaanse
she saw, something, but she thought, is it an Indian woman? What is it? Anyway, we also were, I can tell them, we also came and looked, and I didn't know that what you said to her or what others said, but I saw immediately that it was, and I knew immediately that it was connected with her. So after seance, I told her it's connected with you. It's your grandma or your grandgrandma. I believe so. Then another woman who didn't hear me telling her this said to you the same.
Yeah.
And I haven't heard her, and she hasn't heard me.
Oh.
And my daughter, she haven't heard me telling Aleida this, and haven't heard the other woman. And she said, Aleida, I know, because she has also her connection with spirit, you have to go to my mother because she will recognize for you who was on the picture.
En volgens mij zei Kai ook van het is connected with
and Hans Bender through you has said to Aleida, there's some of you who has a connection with her.
Okay.
With this picture, and I didn't hear that. I didn't know that also. So, and then later on, wat zeg je? Oh yes, 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 and yes, that was said. Yes. Yes. Yes, and it's very much. She's very much certain. And later on, she showed me pictures of her mother. Truly, a picture in a book. And I can see in 1 minute the similarities also of them.
Oh yeah.
There is no doubt. It was
Wonderful.
amazing. And it's so amazing how it exists in. You see people who love physical phenomena know the pictures that look like it's impossible, but it was not possible. And we saw red cloud also. It was wonderful experience. I see Martin, my husband. Hello.
Hello, Martin.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me clearly?
Yes.
If so, I will take 3 minutes of your time. I'm working.
Oh, we're already on the end of the conversation, so
trying to control the machinery, but I have also something to say, and I will read it out for you. Dear Kai and members of the Science Circle Terra Mystica, I am Professor Dr. Martin Kersten, computer science in the Netherlands, and the husband of Lonneke. I have written an eyewitness report on the Seances of Kai, which I attended in February 2018. The report can be read online. I have also attended all 3 seance sessions on November 30, November 29 and December 1, 2019 of Kai Muegge in the Netherlands, as reported on by the previous speakers. I can confirm the observations of my previous report that the seances this year were conducted again in a faithful manner and with several scientific non-explainable phenomena unrolling for my eyes. The most memorable ones are summarized now. During the first evening, during the initiation evening, the table was leviated without force for about 50 centimeters. Twice a chair landed perfectly between the fingers on the table. A concentrated closed circle standing delivered a figurine on the table. During evening 2, the phenomenon of last year were partly repeated. Musical instruments were played upon without visual cue. Shadows of hands became clearly visible on the reflected pad. The towel with fluorescent dots were unexplainably moved. An impressive ectoplasm phenomena was presented, leading to apports of small stones from the eyes clearly visible. The apports described by the others are correct. During evening 3, the observations to recall are: the musical instruments were played upon intensely, during which they rolled towards my feet. I clearly felt a dozen touches on my legs and hands of things unseen. The trumpet was raised into the air and ran its course randomly through the space at high speed. It touched my chest several times. Apports rained from nowhere. An ectoplasm covering the whole body as a veil, displayed in white light, coming from the cabinet. The seance was conducted by an entity who recalled the intertwining of the high-dimensional space we are part of. Our space perception was described as a largely failed experiment, because we were messing up our environment. Overall, these sittings were a confirmation of the ability to repeatedly create non-explainable phenomena and cause the scientists to break out of their comfort zone, to enter a realm unknown, perhaps frightening, obscure, but nevertheless a scientific landscape not to be ignored lightly. Kai, thank you for the never-ending contribution to mankind in putting your health at risk to be a peephole into the multidimensional space we are part of. Thank you.
Superb, great, thank you.
And
Thank you very much. Great,
And
very well
Lonna, perhaps you
written.
may read the message you got just before the meeting.
Yes, you do.
Oh, they said they were surprised about what you're going to share, and I didn't know what you're going to share.
Can you
But I
confirm
need to wait
me
for
that
that.
you didn't know anything of what was planned to do?
No, I didn't know that you was planning to do that. I have it here written. I have it here written by spirits that they told me.
Eva, can you confirm that my mom did
But
not know anything about what's going on, what I had planned?
No, but I did tell you about me. I did tell her what I heard.
But Eva, can you confirm that Lon did not know what was planned, which I had told you in private before?
I can confirm. Yes, and my mother told me there was a surprise.
So it's for us, for me, like for everyone, maybe the surprise. Thank you, Martin.
Yeah, absolutely. That was great. I appreciate that a lot when people from the scientific environment are open and openly look at what we are sharing in the seances. And I accept Martin a lot, and I appreciate him, and I'm very thankful for that thing he was just saying.
Absolutely.
Thank
so
you.
I think it's a very good ending of
Yeah,
our Skype
definitely.
conversation. Our thanks to Julia, because she was wonderful during the seances, because she's a lot of part of it. And I know that she is very important. I respect it also so much. So please give us our blessings and thanks.
Definitely, absolutely. Thank you so much.
Okay, have a nice evening and hope to speak to you again.
Yes, we do. Thank you, Lonneke, for having me. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Bye bye, Kai and Julia.